Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
As Vengeance by Power Glove begins to play over the PA system, spotlights begin to shine all over the arena of a D. After a moment, XWF Extreme Champion Bob D walks out onto the entrance ramp. He puts his arms in the air before heading down the aisle, focused on the ring. He then walks up to the steel steps and climbs into the ring before walking over to a corner, climbing to the second rope, and pulling his arms into the air once again. After that, he hops down and waits. We see the Extron come to life, and we see John Black name shot up with the 38 special. And we see him at the stage in a black and white setting as he is standing there taking in the mixed reactions. Then he walks down to the ramp and he gives them some high fives and he climbs to the steel steps and enters the ring. And he raises his fist in the air as he pounds his chest around the ring as his theme cuts off. Bob D versus John Black. 2 RPs Unlimited. Extreme Rules. Ding, ding, ding. As the bell rings and the distant circles of hell burn brightly atop Brimstone, there's a sweltering air of tension covering the area. Dee tries to simply laugh it off and maintain a layer of confidence, but John Black is all business as he stares his opponent down.
Well, it seems like the arena for tonight isn't really getting into Bob D's head at all.
He's a consummate professional, Heather. He knows what he's doing.
For the sake of his title reign, I'm sure he hopes that you're right. John Black doesn't look to be playing around, but we'll see tonight if he can rise to the occasion in one of the biggest matches of his career.
The two slowly come to the center of the ring, eyeing each other up. It looks like Dee is going to offer a test of strength here. Given both wrestlers similar weights and levels of strength, it could be a proper struggle. JB thinks it's over before hesitantly giving an arm up and slap. Bob D just slapped the daylights out of John Black. What a cheap tactic. JB is on his back foot to quickly try and reorient himself, but D isn't letting his head start to go to waste. Some heavy right hands go and rain down on JB's skull, leaning him against the ropes. Irish whip now to JB, and he comes back on the return, tries for a clothesline. D ducks and goes behind. German suplex. JB gets dropped right on the back of his neck. D puts the boots quickly to JB, but JB manages to fight his way back to his feet and create some separation with a massive shove.
Not exactly kosher tactics by Bob D, but he's going to try everything possible to retain his title here tonight. John Black has to be willing to adapt to the flow of the match, otherwise, he's going to be left behind.
You know the saying about all's fair in love and war, Heather. Well, all's fair in Extreme Rules matches. Good on D for taking advantage of John Black here. That's what a champion's got to do. Down in the middle of hell.
Honestly, feels like it's kind of a big thing in order to stay out of hell when you do die.
D goes back in to try to go on the assault, but John Black responds with a huge uppercut and lands right on the chin as spittle goes flying from D's mouth. JB looks to go on the assault, but D is quick to roll out of the ring as he checks on the damage inflicted on his poor face. He takes a deep breath, looking over his chin, and John Black hits a diving dropkick from the ring apron. Bob D goes flying into the brimstone barricade.
This certainly didn't take long to go to the outside of the ring. Now it's Bob D on the back foot here.
It's fine. It's fine. D's still in the game here.
Bob D is desperately trying to crawl away, but JB won't let him. He pulls him up by the skull before laying into him with a heavy right hand. He then brings him into a front face lock, suplex right on the barricade. D's flesh gets singed by the molten hot brimstone, and he yelps and screams. It doesn't take long for JB to grab him by the face and proceeds to drape him over the barricade. DDT on the floor mats. JB's managed to bring his way back into here out of nowhere. JB takes a moment now, going under the ring. He rummages around there for a bit, wasting precious seconds as D starts to stir, but JB reveals his prize, a wooden table. He pulls it out from underneath before walking along ringside and begins the process of setting up the table. He turns around, but Bob D is up and he swings a large sack right at JB's skull. The sack bounces off of JB's head and he's dropped on all floors. A small hole was created from the impact, and out from it leaks thumbtacks. D adjusts the bag to prevent any more from leaking out before he gets devilish idea. He quickly goes over to the setup table and begins dumping out all the thumbtacks on the table. They cover all of the wood, and then he goes back to John Black. D brings JB onto the table, and both of them are on top. D goes to hook JB's arms. Oh, but John Black is trying to fight out. He's not letting D hook the arms. JB pops back upright. Kick to D's gut. JB looks to hoist him in the air, trying for a brainbuster. JB goes for the Blacka Jacka. Oh, but D slips out from behind. He managed to hook the arms. He's turning around. Big D dropped right on the thumbtack table.
John Black might have just gotten his skull caved in after that impact.
That wasn't an easy bump for Big D either. Believe me, both those guys just had a dozen of those little tiny needles pushing into their skin.
Both men are absolutely writhing in agony from the thumbtacks pushing into their bodies right about now. But they can't stay like this for long because there's a match to win. John Black seems too far out of it, but it's the perfect time for Big D to try and act. He grabs JB by the back of the neck and tries to pick him up and roll him in. But JB is too heavy. He's not wanting to go along. This little bout of tugging keeps going for a few seconds before finally D simply says, "Forget it and let's go," deciding to go back to the drawing board. He looks properly pissed off now and he limps his way to underneath the ring again, pulling out a kendo stick. He eyes up GB, making his mark, and cracks him with the stick. Again, 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 and again. Red welts are popping up all over JB's body, scarring him and pushing many of the thumbtacks already on his body deeper in. JB is having difficulty defending himself against this absolute onslaught. And the kendo stick breaks in twain.
Hard to imagine if JB can still fight and continue here. Between the Big D drop and D absolutely wailing with reckless abandon there, I'd wonder if he's even still conscious.
This match is going to be over in a flash, Heather. D is just way more used to be able to compete on the big stage, especially after joining up with Bob.
D drags JB by the wrist, pulling and prying him over to beside the apron before hoisting him and rolling him inside. His broken wreck of a body rolls inside, and D quickly follows after, setting him on his back and going for a cover. The referee slides in to count. 1, 2, kick out.
John Black isn't out after all.
I don't believe it.
And neither can Bob D, who looks to try to confirm that count with the referee. The two of them are arguing nonstop. D slaps his hand 3 times, trying to explain to the ref how to do his job. But the ref points square on D's chest to try to get him back into line. This is the third match of the night where the referee has had his count refuted by somebody in the match. I can see why he's pissed. But D gets picked up from behind. John Black has one of the last bursts of strength to spare, and he hits the Death Valley driver.
D just got blacklisted. John Black is going to do it. John Black is going to win the Extreme Championship again.
No, not like this.
John Black leaps on for the cover, but the referee got knocked out from Bob D kicking him when he was being brought up.
Oh, he's not winning it yet.
What intellect from our champion.
John Black curses and slaps the mat as he sees the ref is out cold. He goes to shake them awake, but it's no use. It's going to be a long moment before they come to at least. He rubs his chin frantically, trying to think of something to do before it hits him. JB rolls out from the ring one more time and goes underneath before pulling out light tubes. He's got about 3 in his hands and he throws them into the ring for use. He sets them down on the ground and looks to get D into position, but he's finally back up. A headbutt stops JB in his track, followed by a massive spine buster. JB takes a moment to try to roll to the ropes, But it's here that Bob D sees the light tubes on the ground. A sadistic smile crosses his face before he picks one up. He casually twirls it around in his hand, and he eyes up John Black. He goes to swing right for his head, but JB kicks D right in the thigh, just in time to stop him. D stumbles and staggers, clearly not having expected that.
Smart thinking by John Black to avoid that shot.
Yes, but can he follow it up?
JB manages to get back to his feet, and D tries again. He goes for the light tube shot, but JB grabs a hold of his wrists. There's a true test of strength going on in this ring now, and both men are gritting their teeth and to try to avoid giving in. Neither man is moving an inch. Finally, JB sidesteps it while letting go, letting D's attack whiff. JB goes down and gives a new light tube of his own, and both men twirl while taking aim. Crack, crack. Double light tube shots as both men fall to the mat bleeding.
Little hard to see in the ring now with the light tube smoke filling everywhere.
They just keep beating the holy hell out of each other, Heather.
The referee is surprisingly the first one to his feet, dazed and confused by what the hell just happened, but Bob D manages to raise his arm and weakly throws it over the collapsed John Black. The referee hesitantly counts. 1, 2, kick out!
He's still not staying down.
Is either of them going to stay down at this rate?
Bob D manages to get back into his feet and weakly pulls JB back up. The two competitors talk a bit of trash to each other before Bob D slaps JB one more time. He runs the rope, but JB hits him with a boot to the gut. Brainbuster!
John Black just hit the Blackajacka. He can end this right here and now if he just covers him.
No, no, no. This can't be happening.
John Black collapses onto all fours. He's got so little left in the tank, but he has to grit his teeth and persevere. A long moment passes before he comes back to his feet.
What the hell? He's not covering him.
John Black must have one last move in mind if he's going to do this.
JB pulls Bob D over to the middle of the ring, right over the last light tube. He slowly, painstakingly tried to get Bob D with his head between his legs. If he can just pile drive his head into the light tube below them, JB will have to win. He lifts, but Bob D squirms. He's not looking to go down more than anything. Black can't hit the underground noise. He sets Bob D back down, who comes back to being upright. Black with a kick to the gut. He lifts him up instead. Time for plan B with the blacklisted. But Bob D slips out from behind. And it's a split second. He needs to pick John Black up from behind. And he hits the Dan Slam right on the light tube.
What a miraculous burst of energy by Bob D.
What are you waiting for? Cover him.
Bob D manages to hook the leg as the referee counts. 1, 2, 3.
What a war that has been waged here tonight.
Winner and still XWF Extreme Champion, Bob D.
So I wore this green polo shirt to work, and Jimmy goes, "Hey, you look like a Skittle. Do you have any chocolate under there?" And I said, "Hey, asshole, that's fruit. Skittles don't have chocolate." He proceeded to call me a fruit expert the rest of the day. He said, "Your new name is Fruit Snack." I said, "Hey, please don't call me that." He goes, "Hey, I'm just busting balls here."
So at Buffalo Wild Wings, we're watching the game. I order a water because I gotta drive home, right? Then the guy started calling me Princess Ariel because I love water or something. I try to turn around on him, be like, "Hey, how do you know so much about the Little Mermaid? What are you, Disney freaks?" But by then they were already singing Under the Sea pretty loud.
So I had to get dressed up because I was going out to dinner after work. That was in 2004. 10 years! 10 years they've been calling me that shit.
They were calling me John Lennon because my hair was too long. So I got a haircut. And, now they just call me Haircut.
Wall busting pushed me to the edge. I tried to end my life. No, I just punched a wall.
Main event for the Universal Championship. Night 3 of Relentless. Corey Smith versus Thunder Knuckles. 3 RPs, 4K. 10th circle match.
Here he comes, the challenger, the man of the hour, the one who can turn a sweet championship run sour, the one and only Thunder Knuckles. Many fans are predicting the upset tonight on Twitter.
He's a former tag team champion, a former TV champion, and a former Extreme champion. He's done it all in the XWF, except for winning the big one. But I'm not sure anyone can take the belt away from Corey Smith right now.
20 demonic midgets, nay, imps, run down the entrance ramp with sparklers in both hands held as high as their little arms can reach. The tiny demons line both sides of the entrance ramp as Thunder Knuckles walks out from behind the gates of hell with an arrogant smile emblazoned on his face as he's bobbing his head back and forth to the music. The demonic sparklers ignite into balls of flame as Thunder Knuckles walks past the midgets, allowing each and every imp up in a fiery blaze. Once Thunder Knuckles is down to the ring, he rolls under the bottom rope, and in one movement, he pops up to his feet. With his back turned towards the camera, he raises his right fist in defiance. As soon as his fist goes up, counterfeit X-Bucks with Thunder Knuckles' devilishly good-looking face on them fall into the crowd.
What a massive entrance for the challenger here tonight. Thunder Knuckles really went all out with these special effects, and the screams of the little people as they explode were so realistic.
I don't think those were special effects, Fib. Thunder Knuckles is known as the orphan burning bastard for a reason. He plays deadly games with flames. And now, here comes the reigning champion, Corey Smith. Does a legend like Corey even need an introduction at this point?
Corey Smith has been one of the most dominant forces in XWF history for years, but tonight he might be facing his biggest challenge yet, and a death trap of a match that he engineered.
Corey has shattered every glass ceiling they put in front of him, so now there's only one place left to go, down to the 10th layer of hell.
The arena is pitch black, and the melancholy opening tunes to Identity begin. But as the song starts to pick up in intensity, down in the entryway, you see a Jericho-esque light-up jacket glow brilliantly. Then twin explosions emit from either side of the ramp. The lights turn on in a swirling red and blue pattern that throb and sync with the beats of the song. XWF Universal Champion Corey Smith comes down the ramp, the jacket now flashing intermittent heart and lightning bolt patterns. On the Tron, you see images of Corey/Lux pulling off fantastic moves, intercut with blur effects on Corey's face that obscure his features in an eerie way. Corey gets on the ring apron, throwing his arms over the top rope as the jacket keeps flashing. He looks pumped as hell and starts pointing out at the fans before rushing to the top rope, surveying the crowd from on high, before dropping down to the canvas and handing off his jacket. He paces the ring now, waiting for the match to begin as the music and lighting effects wind down.
Corey must be furious on the inside right now. I think he's been looking forward to putting TK through hell. Corey must be furious on the inside right now. I think he's been looking forward to putting TK through this hell for months.
A fiery stipulation in the middle of Hades itself. I think we all need to strap in tight because we're in for one hell of a match tonight.
4 cage walls descend from the ceiling, quickly getting fastened to the ring by the production assistants ringside. Inside the ring, we see Thunder Knuckles and Corey Smith, each man anxiously pacing in their respective corner. No referees can be seen in the ring, but about a dozen or so referees and paramedics can be seen just outside the ring wearing fireproof attire. Above the ring, 20 suitcases hang down from the rafters. After a little bit of fidgeting, the production assistants light the flames, and all 4 cage walls burst into an inferno. The sweltering heat from the cage walls becomes quickly evident as all the ringside attendants begin profusely sweating through their clothing. Two ladders stand tall in the middle of the ring, ready to be climbed and repositioned at will.
Corey must be insane to come up with a stipulation like this. I'm not sure either of these men will make it out of here alive tonight.
No wonder none of these referees wanted to get in the ring tonight. I can feel the immense heat coming off the cage walls from my chair.
Ding, ding, ding. The bell is rung by the ringside assistant, who is dressed in fully fireproof regalia. The crowd is immediately at a fever pitch as Corey Smith and Thunder Knuckles take a few moments at the beginning of the match to get used to their new surroundings. Corey Smith stares into the raging flames with a sick smile on his face, as if he had been looking forward to this exact moment all day. Thunder Knuckles, meanwhile, looks towards the cage walls with complete and utter disdain. The challenger already seems tired of this sweltering furnace.
Thunder Knuckles doesn't look thrilled in there, and I can't blame him. The ring itself could catch fire at any moment.
All he has to do is grab the right briefcase to end the match. If Thunder Knuckles plays his cards right, this match could theoretically be over in just a few minutes.
Thunder Knuckles starts moving towards Corey Smith, who looks between TK and the fire with a wicked grin on his face. Thunder Knuckles reaches the center of the ring before Corey Smith even leaves his corner. TK calls out to Corey to be a man and come do some proper fisticuffs. But Corey just chuckles before taking another minute to admire the raging inferno surrounding them.
I think something might have broken inside Corey's head. He seems transfixed by those flames.
Maybe he's remembering all the orphans that he let burn.
Let burn.
You know, when TK was testing the fire alarm system at Coreytopia.
TK flips off Corey Smith, pulling a full double bird, but Corey just scoffs at him in response. TK calls the champion a slur, then gets bleeped by standards and practices before TK hurriedly climbs up one of the two ladders, clearly expecting Corey to chase him. The champion, however, remains in his corner.
I think you might be right, Heather. I think Corey really has lost it. He's just letting Thunder Knuckles climb up the ladder, even though we know the championship belt is hanging in the briefcase.
Wait a second. I think Corey has a plan here.
Thunder Knuckles rushes up the ladder and grabs the first briefcase he sees, completely unaware that Corey Smith isn't giving chase.
And Thunder Knuckles pulls down the first briefcase. This could be it. The match could be over right here.
Thunder Knuckles grabs the briefcase and clutches it to his chest before finally realizing Corey Smith is now just meandering around the ring. TK shouts something crude at Corey, causing Corey to look up at him just in time to see TK finally open the briefcase. But when TK pulls out the placard inside the case, his jaw drops.
Wait, does that say?
Punch yourself in the nuts right now or forfeit the match.
Corey Smith looks up at TK impatiently, tapping his foot on the mat. TK looks back at the placard, confirming what it says before swallowing his pride, eventually delivering a nasty left hook right to his gonads. TK wheezes in pain before falling off the ladder, dropping down to the ground like a fat sack of bricks. Corey chuckles to himself as the crowd gasps in shock.
This is sick and twisted.
TK might have twisted his testicles after that drop.
Corey Smith hurries over to TK before dropping down to the mat near him, but instead of laying on some vicious blows, Corey Smith instead delivers some vicious whispers. Corey mocks and derides TK before standing up and backing off. TK, clearly infuriated, pounds the mat before pushing himself up to his feet with anger.
Whatever Corey said, it must have gotten under TK's skin.
It's about time someone got under Thunder Knuckles' skin. He's only been doing it to others for years.
TK cusses out Corey Smith before darting up the other ladder, hurriedly climbing to the top, while Corey Smith just crosses his arms and shakes his head.
There are now only 19 unopened briefcases left hanging above the ring, and any one of those could contain the championship belt.
But every briefcase is more likely to contain some sort of sick and twisted challenge. This could get really brutal before the night is over.
That is, unless one of these competitors is greeted with a challenge they don't have the stomach to face. If the challenge goes too far, either wrestler could simply forfeit the match instead.
I have a strong feeling that kind of cowardice won't be on display tonight, Pip. After all, the biggest prize in all of wrestling is on the line in this one. These men would do anything to walk away from this hellscape with the Universal Championship.
TK reaches the top of the ladder and grabs the nearest briefcase, quickly pulling it down and opening it. The camera zooms in on the placard inside the briefcase.
Cut your forehead or forfeit the match.
And here comes the blood.
The cameraman then pans to a shiny blade taped inside the case. The camera zooms back out as TK shrugs before taking the blade out of the case. He looks down at Corey Smith and flips him off with his free hand while he drives the blade across his forehead, spilling thick blood down his skull.
I think TK might be overdoing it on the blade job here. He's going in deeper and going farther than he has to.
TK's going in deeper and going further than he has to? That's what he does, Heather. I think TK is sending a message to the champion right now. I mean, just look at how he's staring him down.
Sure enough, TK is still cutting his forehead with the blade while flipping off the champion. Blood oozes down TK's face as he stares daggers at Corey Smith. After a few more seconds, TK finally lets out a pained "fuck" before he tucks the blade into his pants pocket and begins wiping the seeping blood away from his eyes.
It looks like Thunder Knuckles is saving the blade for later. Smart man.
But his face looks like a war crime now. I'm not sure how smart he really is, Pip.
Thunder Knuckles finally wipes enough blood away from his eyes for him to search for another briefcase. Within a few pain seconds, the challenger is able to locate one of the 18 unopened cases hanging above the ring. TK grabs the case and pulls it close to his chest before it pops the lock and reveal a challenge inside.
Swallow this pill or forfeit the match.
Swallows
Huh.
this pill. Ha! Thunder Knuckles has been taking and selling drugs since he was a mere child. This one will be easy for him, with or without water.
Thunder Knuckles just laughs at the placard as the camera zooms in on the pill. It's a square white tablet that reads 1,000 milligrams, with a skull and crossbones etched on the tablet. The camera zooms back out as TK throws the pills into his back of his throat and quickly swallows it down. Thunder Knuckles quickly sets to work looking for another briefcase as he lets the open case go back to hanging above the ring. Within mere moments, TK has another briefcase close to his chest, but unbeknownst to him, Corey Smith is now standing at the leg of the ladder. Just before TK is able to open the case, Corey Smith pushes the ladder over. The ladder falls flat against the mat, but TK remains high in the air, clinging to the briefcase for dear life. But that only lasts a couple seconds, because the wires hanging out the briefcases weren't designed to hold 260 pounds of Lima beef. Snap! The wire breaks as TK and the briefcase he's clutching fall all the way down to the mat.
That's the kind of fall that can end a career, or even a life. Someone needs to check and make sure Thunder Knuckles is able to continue.
Who's going to do that, Pip? Corey Smith? Remember, all the referees are outside the ring, far away, locked behind the flaming cage walls.
Corey Smith just smiles as the crowd gasps in horror. Thunder Knuckles lands flat on the mat, smartly tucking his chin, but he loses hold of the briefcase in the process. Corey Smith walks right over to the briefcase and picks it up, showing it off to the crowd for a few moments before he looks down at the briefcase with an inquisitive eye.
There's still 17 briefcases left, and that means there's a roughly 5% chance that the championship belt is in that briefcase. Those aren't good odds.
Corey Smith has no way of knowing which briefcase is which, unless he's a dirty cheater.
Or is there a way to tell?
Corey Smith holds the fallen briefcase up to his ear and shakes it around. A look of growing dissatisfaction spreads across the champion's face.
Corey doesn't think the belt is in that briefcase.
So what's he gonna do with it?
I think the champion has an idea, Pip.
TK is finally stirring from his nasty fall with a crimson mask coating his face. The Bob loyalist slowly steps to his feet, being watched closely every step of the way by Corey Smith. When TK reaches his feet, he turns around and wham, gets smacked right in the face by the fallen briefcase. TK's crimson mask grows more vibrant as he falls to the ground once more. Corey Smith disrespectfully throws the briefcase down atop TK's body, where he starts making his merry way towards the only ladder left standing.
Corey is going about this match the smart way, and so far it's paying off. Thunder Knuckles has taken all sorts of damage, and Corey Smith might well walk away as the Universal Champion right here. He's just one briefcase away.
If he gets that briefcase on his first attempt, I swear everyone is going to accuse him of having rigged this match.
Rigged the match? Come on, it might just be easy to tell what's inside a briefcase. After all, a pill and a razor blade feel nothing like a championship belt.
As Corey Smith begins ascending the ladder, Thunder Knuckles, who is still lying prone on the mat, opens up the briefcase that Corey Smith so rudely threw on top of him. The camera quickly cuts to a shot of the challenge card inside the case, showcasing the audience exactly what Corey Smith passed up on.
Spray your eyes or forfeit the match.
The camera pans on a can of pepper spray so conveniently placed inside the case. TK groans before reluctantly reaching in and retrieving the spray. TK looks to the hard cam with crimson anguish before spraying the smallest amount of pepper spray possible into his eyes. Yet still, TK begins immediately squirming and writhing around on the ground in pain. Corey Smith takes a short break from climbing the ladder to look down at Thunder Knuckles, smiling with pure satisfaction as he watches the bastard suffer.
I've never seen Corey Smith take so much joy in someone suffering before.
Thunder Knuckles has done things to Corey Smith. He's made this match personal. I'm not surprised that Corey has been pushed to the brink like this.
With a smirk, Corey continues ascending the ladder and quickly reaches the top. He scouts around for a briefcase and pulls it close to him. The champion inspects the briefcase visually before shaking it around lightly, trying to deduce what exactly could be inside of it. A look of mixed confusion washes across Corey's face, and he considers opening the briefcase before deciding better of it. Instead, Corey relinquishes that case in favor of pulling down another case near him.
Corey is being precise with his actions here tonight. He knows most of these briefcases are complete losers, and he doesn't want to subject himself to any unnecessary damage.
The longer he stalls, the more time his opponent has to recover. He needs to remember that.
Corey repeats the process with another briefcase before deciding more definitively to throw that one to the side. He then goes back to fiddling with the original briefcase, but by now, a bloody mad Thunder Knuckles has risen to his feet. Before Corey has the chance to open the briefcase he so meticulously scouted, TK throws the bottle of pepper spray right at his nuts. The champion groans in pain as he hunches over on top of the ladder. His chosen briefcase swings above the air, just out of reach.
All that scouting for nothing. Corey just wasted a bunch of time and let his opponent recover.
It might not be all for naught, Pip. Corey just has to remember which briefcase gave him the good tingles.
As Corey groans in pain atop the ladder, TK grabs the ladder by its legs and begins shaking it. Corey looks up frantically, realizing he's in trouble. Corey tries to descend the ladder, moving down a couple rungs, but the ladder starts tipping over before he can make it down safely. TK screams out a few expletives as he pushes the ladder over, causing Corey to tumble to the mat.
I'm not sure Corey's going to remember anything after that nasty spill, Heather.
When Corey hits the ground, TK wastes no time jumping atop him. TK drops an elbow on the champion before quickly mounting him, delivering a few more big elbows to Corey's face for good measure. Corey squirms around and uses his arms defensively, stopping TK's from landing any more decisive blows. Growing impatient, Thunder Knuckles resorts to dirty tricks. TK grabs Corey Smith's fingers and begins twisting them in every which way, causing the champion to scream in pain. The referees outside of the ring look on through the flames, helpless to intervene. The champion's fingers sound like Rice Krispies as they snap, crackle, and pop out of place. Corey Smith rides around in pain beneath Thunder Knuckles, desperately trying to buck off the much larger man. Unperturbed, Thunder Knuckles just laughs in delight as he lets go of Corey's deformed fingers and begins delivering more vicious elbows to the temple of the downed champion.
The championship belt is hanging somewhere up high above the ring, but Thunder Knuckles has brought this fight to the mat. He's using every ace up his sleeve and every trick he's learned to take advantage of this one.
Thunder Knuckles knows he's outclassed in this match, so he's just trying to break Corey's fingers to stop him from opening any briefcases. This is hard to watch. What levels of desperation will this bastard stoop to?
For the Universal Championship, Heather, that bastard will go as low as he needs to go.
Corey Smith is eventually able to twist his body around, turning over to his stomach so as to shield his face better from the incoming blows. The crimson faced TK smiles at this turn of events, taking a quick break from his assault to reach into his pocket and pull out a familiar blade.
That's the blade that TK snatched from the briefcase earlier. He knew it would come in handy later.
Sharing bloody utensils? Isn't that how disease spreads? This match could get lethal in a variety of ways.
As TK reaches into his pocket, the blood coursing down his forehead is getting noticeably thinner. The red ooze seeps out of the bloody line in TK's forehead and with more speed and veracity than ever, completely coating his face. TK's breathing becomes noticeably shallow and more labored as his chest heaves up and down heavily. Nevertheless, TK grabs Corey Smith by the back of his head, pulling his hair as he tries to reveal the champion's forehead. With a shaky hand, TK brings the blade down and tries to press it against the struggling champion's flesh.
Wait, something seems to be wrong with Thunder Knuckles.
Maybe Thunder Knuckles just can't handle a match of this caliber, Pip. He's out of shape and in the deep end, way above his head. Just like Corey Smith has been saying all week long.
Corey Smith bats the blade out of TK's hand with a relative ease, preventing Thunder Knuckles from inflicting the same vicious torture to his forehead. Corey is then able to shove TK off him, forcing TK to take several steps back. As Corey scrambles up to his feet, TK places a hand on his stomach and keels over in pain. Then, TK's mouth flies open as he spews a nasty stream of bile right into the flames of the nearest cage wall. The vomit explodes as it makes contact with the inferno, releasing a stench most foul all across the arena.
It looks like TK's been drugged.
Jesus, he was drugged, Pip. Don't you remember what was in his third briefcase? Thunder Knuckles took that mysterious pill, and now it looks like it's taking effect.
Thunder Knuckles wipes all the unexploded vomit off his mouth before turning around to look for Corey Smith. Dazed and confused, Thunder Knuckles blinks rapidly as he reaches out furiously at the empty space just to the left of Corey Smith.
I think Thunder Knuckles might be seeing double right now.
Corey rolls his eyes and laughs at Thunder Knuckles, angering the bloody man even further. TK lashes out with a vicious haymaker that would put any man to sleep, but he delivers it just to the right of a giddy Smith.
That bastard might be seeing triples right now.
TK wobbles around on his feet, looking like he's about to spew more chunks all over the ring. TK's mouth opens up as if to spew, but his mouth closes just as quickly as Corey Smith delivers a standing axe kick to his face. TK swallows back his vomit, and he's forced to take several steps back, right into the flames of the cage. TK's back is singed slightly, causing him to yelp loudly before darting forward a couple of steps. The brush-in with the inferno wall seems to have snapped TK out of his medical ailment, and he looks right at Corey Smith with a fury of 1,000 infernos burning behind his eyes. Corey laughs at Thunder Knuckles, again, drawing even more ire from the challenger.
Going into this match, some people said Thunder Knuckles had gotten inside the champion's head, but here tonight, it's been the champion playing all the mind games.
But Thunder Knuckles is still ahead on the scoreboard, Heather. He's up 4 briefcases to none.
That's literally another point in Corey's favor. You do understand that, right?
Nope.
Corey Smith raises his arms into a defensive posture as Thunder Knuckles advances upon him once more. The reigning champion looks relatively unharmed so far, minus the horrendous condition of his fingers, but his opponent's body already tells a completely different story. TK's face is dripping with scarlet ichor, but some of the blood is congealing with the pepper spray and sticking to his face. The challenger's back has been lightly burned, and the hair on his neck is missing. Even still, the challenger pushes forward, locking up with the champion square in the center of the ring. The two wrestlers tie up and begin pushing each other back and forth in the classic test of strength. Everyone in the crowd is standing in attention as the two men vie for dominance. Initially, Thunder Knuckles gains the advantage due to his overwhelming size, but within mere moments, Corey Smith turns it around before locking in a headlock on TK around TK's cleanly shaven back of his neck.
Usually, Corey wouldn't want to lock horns directly with the larger opponent, but after tricking Thunder Knuckles into opening so many briefcases, Corey was able to get an overwhelming physical advantage. I think the champion's devilish plan might be working, Pip.
Thunder Knuckles screams in anguish as Corey Smith cranks up the pressure on the headlock. TK reaches around Corey's waist as if to lift him up for a suplex to break the hold, but the wily Smith sees the counter coming from a mile away and counters the counter with a counter of his own. Corey lets go of the headlock and TK's arm to grab TK's arm as soon as it's directly exposed. Then he brings TK crashing down to the mat with an arm drag.
What a display of technical excellence from the Universal Champion.
But that doesn't matter, Heather. Not in this match. All that matters is who comes away with that lucky briefcase. And there's still 16 unopened briefcases up there.
TK quickly scurries back to his feet as he recovers from the arm drag. TK rushes at Corey Smith once again, anticipating another lockup, but Corey Smith instead drops to the mat for a leg sweep that completely buckles TK's knees. TK falls to the mat, landing jaw first against one of the prone ladders lying on the canvas.
Ouch, that landing bites.
TK lays flat with his head against the ladder for a moment, either briefly KO'd or taking a few seconds to recover. Either way, Corey Smith is on him in a heartbeat. The champion grabs TK by the charred scruff of his burnt neck before he begins slamming TK's face into the ladder repeatedly. TK's bloody mask grows even wider as the gash on his forehead is opened up from every angle. After Corey Smith decides enough is enough, he tosses TK's head away from the ladder with a satisfied smirk. Then Corey goes to work setting up that blood-stained ladder to get a briefcase.
Corey Smith has taken complete control of this match. He has navigated his chosen stipulation expertly and shown everyone why he's one of the best to ever do it. If he pulls down the magic briefcase right now, I'm not even sure you can say it was luck, Pip. What we've seen here tonight was great game planning.
You can't put the cart before the horse, especially not in a crazy batshit match like this. We have to see what the briefcase has in store.
Corey Smith sets up a ladder and takes another quick gander at Thunder Knuckles, who's laying on the mat struggling to get up. Corey nods to himself before he starts climbing the ladder. Within a few seconds, Corey has reached the peak and starts trying to decide which briefcase to grab.
Last time Corey was up on the ladder, he took too long to open a briefcase and he paid the price for it. Let's see if he's quicker this time.
Corey's trying to play it smart, but there's nothing smart about what's in 95% of those briefcases.
With a heavy sigh and a hopeful heart, Corey grabs a briefcase out of the sky and tries to open it excitedly, until he's reminded of the shooting pain in his fingers. The camera zooms in on Corey's broken and twisted fingers fidgeting with the locks in the case. It looks grotesque, far worse than you're imagining.
Corey's fingers were completely mauled by that bastard earlier in the match. It's one of the only good licks Thunder Knuckles has gotten in.
Well, it's a good thing Corey doesn't have any girlfriends to finger after this match.
After a great deal of time, Corey's twisted fingers are finally able to finesse the fidget, keeping the briefcase closed. The camera zooms out just in time to capture Corey's horrified expression when it opens the briefcase. Corey's heart sinks as the camera zooms in on the special stipulation written on the placard.
Taste the flames or lose the match.
To taste the flames, what does that mean?
I think you know what it means, Pip. Corey has to lick the cage walls, or else he has to give up his championship belt.
Corey's tongue might be his most valuable asset. And he did this to himself.
Corey looks down and sees that Thunder Knuckles is slowly stirring. The champion shakes his head in frustration before hurrying down the ladder. With barely any hesitation at all, Corey Smith approaches the flaming wall furthest away from Thunder Knuckles. He sticks his tongue out and closes his eyes. The camera zooms in to catch a close-up of Corey's wet tongue slithering out between his lips. Then The pink flesh touches the flickering flames.
My God.
The crowd gasps in horror as Corey Smith immediately drops to the ground and begins rolling around while covering his mouth with both hands. Muffled screams of pain can be heard throughout the arena as the champion flails and flounders in an anguish of his own design.
This is sick. Sick and twisted. I love it.
It's the kind of match that will take multiple reconstructive surgeries to recover from because of what you did to yourself. This goes to show you how far the greatest wrestlers in the world are willing to go to hold on to that XWF Universal Championship belt.
Corey Smith's championship reign has put the extreme back in XWF with this match. That's for damn sure.
As Corey slams his feet into the mat and covers his mouth in pain, Thunder Knuckles slowly rises back to his feet. The crowd pops as the challenger returns to a standing position, covered in his crimson mask. Thunder Knuckles wipes some of the fresh blood away from his eyes before he looks down at the wounded Corey Smith. DK takes a step towards Corey before stopping in his tracks, thinking better of it.
What's Thunder Knuckles doing? This is a chance to lay the smackdown on Corey Smith and get some serious payback.
But beating up your opponent isn't how you win this match. Beating up yourself is the only sure way.
Fighting against every instinct in his body, TK leaves his vulnerable opponent alone. Instead, the challenger begins ascending the ladder Corey had set up in the center of the ring. TK takes his sweet time getting to the top of the ladder, having a hard time placing his hands on the rungs, given how much the blood keeps dripping down his forehead. Yet still, the bastard is able to ascend the ladder as the champion thrashes in torment on the mat. Thunder Knuckles reaches out for the nearest briefcase, but he has a hard time getting a hold of it. The blood dripping into his eyes makes it hard to see. The blood now coating his fingertips makes it hard to grab anything.
Thunder Knuckles is really struggling up there. He's going to have to work faster if he wants to make the most of this opportunity.
After some more time, Thunder Knuckles is finally able to get his bloody mitts on a case. The bastard pulls the briefcase in close before he opens it up to reveal a devilish stipulation inside.
Wear this shock collar or lose the match.
Shock collar? Who's in charge of administering the shocks? Satan himself?
Thunder Knuckles wastes no time in wrapping the shock collar around his neck. As soon as he does so, he's greeted with a huge shot of electricity to the neck. All of TK's hair stands up as he begins twitching and seizing atop the ladder, hanging on for dear life as more and more rounds of electric shock are pumped through his system.
Jesus, that's enough already. How long does he have to wear this thing for?
It seems like for the rest of the match.
And how much is it going to shock him?
Great question.
Eventually, the shocking seems to subside, and TK takes solace in the fact until he notices that Corey Smith is finally recovering from his burnt tongue. TK rushes to grab another briefcase, quickly opening it to reveal yet another torturous stipulation to the audience.
Smash your head face first into the ladder or lose the match.
Well, that's not too bad, all things considered. Could have been something way worse. In fact, I bet the next one is going to be way worse.
Thunder Knuckles has to wipe the blood away from his eyes in order to read the placard, but as soon as he does, he follows through. The bastard slams his own face right into the top of the ladder, smearing his blood all over it and knocking himself loopy in the process. Corey Smith, meanwhile, is now ascending the other side of the ladder. TK shakes his head from side to side, probably trying to get the cobwebs out before he's face to face with the champion.
Corey Smith is about to be face to face with Thunder Knuckles on top of the ladder.
This is where the danger happens, Heather. Up high. One wrong fall, and your neck can snap in a dozen pieces. I've seen careers end like this.
We might see another one in like that tonight. These wrestlers are giving each other and themselves everything they have here tonight, all because they want to walk away with that championship.
The crowd pops, growing to a deafening crescendo as Corey Smith finally reaches the top of the ladder and comes eye to bloody and pepper sprayed eye with TK. Thunder Knuckles spits blood into the face of Corey Smith before he headbutts the champion, knocking both men silly for a moment. TK and Corey both have to brace themselves against the ladder to avoid falling.
What a nasty headbutt from Thunder Knuckles. If Corey didn't have a concussion yet, he sure does now.
But that move might have done more damage to Thunder Knuckles than anyone. He's already taken so much damage to the head tonight, I'm not sure that headbutt was a wise decision.
TK and Corey both look woozy, but seem to recover at the same time. TK lashes out with a wild punch that misses, leaving him wide open to a counter. Corey smacks TK with the back of his open hand, causing TK to wobble and shake atop the ladder. Corey then grabs TK's face and slams it into the ladder. TK tries to resist, but his energy is too spent, and Corey still has so much left in the tank. Corey waves away TK's defenses before slamming his hands against both of TK's ears. With a grip on his head, TK's hands instinctively fly upward. That's when Corey wisely lets go of TK's head and instead pushes TK in the chest. TK slips and falls off the ladder, tumbling harshly to the mat. Sensing his opportunity, Corey reaches into the air from atop the ladder. The champion starts fiddling with a few different briefcases before finally settling on one. Corey opens the briefcase and his face goes deathly white when he sees the stipulation.
Lick up your opponent's blood or lose the match.
I told you the next stipulation could be worse, Heather. And like always, I was right.
Corey Smith seems to have more trouble with the stipulation than any other. After a few moments of thinking and hesitating, a ghastly white Corey Smith eventually leans down and sticks his burnt tongue out towards the ladder coated with TK's blood. The crowd lets out a collective ew as Corey shudders at the taste. After taking some time to recollect himself from the horror of licking up TK's blood, Corey reaches out for another briefcase. The champion pulls down a case and opens it up, revealing the placard tucked inside with a special tool, namely a staple gun.
Shoot 6 staples into your head or forfeit the match.
Corey grabs the staple gun with no hesitation whatsoever. He staples 3 times into one side of his head and 3 times in the other side of his head before he returns the now empty staple gun into the briefcase and pushes it away into the air.
Corey is a brilliant tactician. He probably put those staples into the side of his head instead of the front because he didn't want his vision or breathing impaired by a crimson mask.
Corey quickly reaches out for yet another briefcase and pulls it down, clearly willing to do whatever it takes to retain his title.
Dive face first into the mat or lose the match.
Just when you think this match can't get any more insane, what kind of madman came up with these stipulations? The devil himself? Landing on your neck from that height will kill you.
The devil is trying to collect some championship souls tonight, Pip.
Corey sighs begrudgingly before following the task. Suicide diving to the mat. The crowd oohs and ahs in amazement before cringing in horror as he, champion, lands on the mat. An uncontrollable amount of time passes before either man stirs, but then suddenly both come to some semblance of life at the same time. The pair stumble to their feet, meeting each other in a stare down as the crowd roars. Corey tries to surprise throat punch TK, but TK knows all about Corey Smith's tricks and forces him into a test of strength. Back and forth, the two men duel in the test of strength, until TK gets the upper hand by kicking Corey in the gut. The champion falls to the ground in pain and TK stands over him. TK grabs his ankle for the thunder strike, but Corey kicks out of the danger and finds himself in. TK gets back to his feet and turns around as Corey goes for a spinning back kick to the head. TK dodges the kick by slightly moving his head backward 2 inches. Corey looks in shock as TK grins and grumbles one word: telegraphed. TK reaches out and grabs Corey's extended foot by the ankle. A confused look of shock and horror spreads across the champion's face as he realizes he's been caught out of position. Corey tries frantically to tug his extended leg free, but it's no use. TK's grab is ironclad. Then a big smirk spreads across the bastard's face. Thunder Knuckles drops to his back while holding Corey's ankle, delivering an extremely rare standing thunder strike. Corey seems to be not completely unconscious from the force of the blow. Upon a close examination of the replay, it looks possible that Corey's knee may have just blown out.
The foot DDT. The foot DDT. How can you recover from a devastating move like that?
TK rolls back to a standing position before he wipes the crimson mask off his face one more time. TK looks down at the seemingly KO'd Corey Smith with a jolly grin before he ascends the ladder once more. When TK reaches the top of the ladder, he pauses, closing his eyes and clasping his hands together.
What's doing up there? Is he so far gone in this match that he forgot he needs to grab a briefcase?
I think he's praying to the Bastily Father for good fortune.
Oh, yeah. I forgot how stupid and superstitious the Brotherhood was.
TK opens his eyes and breathes deeply before reaching out for a briefcase at random. TK grabs the case and opens it up, revealing the new XWF Universal Champion. Winner and new XWF Universal Champion and latest member of the Grand Slam Club, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hear it for him. Thunder Knuckles. Corey and TK lie in the middle of the ring. TK's music blaring through Hell's ethereal sound system and the roar of the crowd being blocked out by their mutual hearts pounding in their heads. The flames of Hell flash a yellow and red, turning up the temperature around the two competitors as TK clutches his Universal Championship with his dear life. What looks like devilish confetti, little horns and tails fill the area, covering the two and the thousands in attendance.
I can't believe he's done it. Thunder Knuckles.
Is our Universal Champion.
A severely underpaid referee skirts around the various fiery potholes and gets to the still flaming ring. With wielder's gloves on, he gingerly unlocks the molten red door and skips his way inside, slipping through the ropes and stands by Thunder Knuckles and motions for him to get up. Corey, in a mixed pool of blood, is breathing heavily and is the first to stir from his position, staring at Hell's sky. He looks dazed, eyes still in the hanging briefcases, searching for his title, knowing full well it's lying in the arms of his opponent. A snarl erupts from his mouth as he realizes he's lost. Turning into a rage, he goes to stalk after 2K, who's been helped to his own feet by the referee, still clutching onto his belt.
Looks like we're not quite done here.
Fight, 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 fight.
Corey stops inches from TK's face, breathing heavily and glaring up at the larger man. TK stars right back at him before slowly raising the Universal Championship over his head with to the thunderous cheer of the crowd.
What bam?
TK manages a weak smile back at Corey. It's you that belongs in the 10th circle, Core. The crowd cheers before breaking into communal gasp. Corey looks ready to pounce at TK just as his eyes widen like a cat. TK clocks the shift and drops the mat at lightning fast. Sword comes flying from behind his head, missing TK by an inch and slamming right into Corey's forehead. More blood. Lots of blood. Corey drops to the mat limp. His attacker comes into the spotlight. Isaiah King. Fuck. Thunder Knuckles rolls out of the ring, clutches to his belt, and breathing heavily. His eyes are wide, and he sees Isaiah standing over Corey in the middle of the ring.
You slimy son of a bitch. You thought you could take that belt, a belt that wasn't even Corey's to lose, and what? Celebrate? Your clock started ticking last week, Nuck. I was going to murder you before you became champ. Now that trophy's just gonna be a little shinier. Tick.
Thunder Knuckles glares at Isaiah, but is quickly walking backwards, back to wherever the Hell's locker rooms are. The crowd is split, mostly booing Isaiah, but a spatter of cheers for the Kingslayer can be heard.
I'm sorry about that, Corey. Wrong place, wrong time. I'd really rather have fought you in the ring again.
Isaiah prods the unconscious Corey with the tip of his boot. Corey is unresponsive. Looking back to the wounded and retreating champion, the Kingslayer has a devious smile on his face.
Yo, Nuck, I'm coming after you. It's time for a new hunt, and this hunt, it's going to be relentless. Well, there you have it, folks. Thunder Knuckles is the new Universal Champion, but Isaiah King, who clearly feels like he should have been the one main eventing Night 3, is coming for TK and his new title. Join us in 2 weeks for Weekend Warfare to see what happens next between these two. Any final words, Pip?
Thunder Knuckles is the new Universal Champion. Long may he reign.
Fade to black.
Right